Okay, triads, guitarist's best friend. Anytime you're in a band, it's just super, super useful. Or just a way to kind of layer things is a really, really useful thing to do. You should know these inside and out. We're just gonna focus on the bottom three strings for our triads. We're gonna do just major chords in this video. So let's start off with a C major triad. Our shape is gonna be the 5th fret of the G, 5th fret of the B, 3rd fret of the E. Okay, that's the root position triad for C major. Then we have our first inversion, which is going to look like this, which is going to be on the 9th fret of the G string, and then we're barring the 8th fret of the B and the 8th fret of the little e. And then we have our second inversion triad, which is going to be 12 of the G, 13 of the B string, and 12 of the little e. And that is also the same as doing open, 1, open. Remember that 12th fret is the octave of that. The same thing. So these are your root position, first and second inversion triads for C major. Now a good way to practice this is to use a chord progression. So let's take a chord progression with just major chords, just to kind of practice this. So let's say we have C major, F, and then G. So something like, for example, let's say someone's strumming that. Or whatever, right? Play those accordingly. So if we take our root position triad, right, that was a C, and we know this is a C because of the root note here on the G string. Now if our next chord was an F, going to a G, so if we find those, that's going to be on the 10 and 8th fret, 10, 10, 8, and then that's for F, and then for G, 12, 12, 10. So you get something like, right? And that's really useful. And you can go ahead and do this with all the inversions as well. So if you take C, I'm gonna run out of space over here, so I'm gonna do it over here. So we got for C, and then F, G, right? And then you can do it for your second inversion as well. So C, F, G, and that's really cool too. And a cool challenge for yourself to kind of really get the concept of triads, because you don't want to just stick to the one shape. The cool thing about knowing these triads and the inversions is you can combine them. So let's try this. This will be our little exercise. We're going to be doing C with our root position, and then because F and G are neighbors, we're going to stick with the same shape. So we're going to use whatever's closest to this C. So the closest F chord or triad is going to be the second inversion triad, which is this one, which is the 5th fret, 6th, and 5th. And if we take that and move it up 2 frets, we get G. So now we have this, right? And that kind of, there's a little more, there's kind of a musical thing about that, right? Doing this, because it's the same shape, it feels very like, I don't know, to me it sounds very like flat, right? There's no real movement. It's like moving with the chords rather than like kind of dancing with the chords, right? And the cool thing about that is the melody note, right? The top note here is moving along with you, right? So it's kind of creating this melodic idea underneath, which so is the other one, but this is another useful one. Right? And then so you can practice this using the other ones as well. So for example, our, let's say the second inversion. So the closest one for F and G is, right? So, and then for the second inversion C, right? The closest one being, and then, you could also do it as, oops. Right? And it's a really good way to practice this, right? So again, if you want to play along with the C chord, right? And then F to G, and then adding your own triad idea underneath. And of course, you would want to go and practice this on the other strings, but for now, let's just stick with the G, B, and E strings.